Taylor here. You know, we just started our study of astronomy, and what does astronomy even mean? Well, astronomy is the study of any object in space, planets, stars, so forth. That's astronomy. You know, not that long ago, only 600 years ago or so, people had some really strange ideas, even scientists. In fact, most people, even scientists, believed the world was flat. Wow. Some of the earliest astronomers were the ancient Greeks. They spent a lot of time at night studying the sky. And they were the first to start naming certain things as well. For example, the stars at night that seemed to move quicker than the other ones, they called the wanderers. And the Greek word for that is planetae, which is where we get the word planets. One of the earliest Greek astronomers, Ptolemy, believed that the Earth was the center of all the universe, that everything rotated around the Earth. That's a concept we call geocentrism. Geo meaning Earth, centrism meaning centered, in other words, Earth-centered. Copernicus was a German astronomer. He was one of the first astronomers to suggest that maybe instead of the Earth being the center of the universe, the Sun was the center of at least our solar system. That meant that instead of everything rotating around the Earth, everything instead was rotating around the Sun. This concept is called heliocentrism. Helio from the Greek word referring to sun, centrism of course being centered. So heliocentrism is sun-centered. Now that got him into a lot of trouble because everybody in the day believed that the Earth was created for us, so it should be the center of the universe. But Copernicus saw a different story when he looked into the sky. So before telescopes, before we had spacecraft to send us up into space, how did these astronomers know that everything was rotating around the sun? Well, let me see if I can explain that. Okay, I'm in a car right now, and I'm moving. But how do I really know that I'm moving? Well, the most obvious way I can tell that I'm moving is that I can feel that I'm moving. For example, I could slam on the brakes, or I can accelerate. So if I can't feel movement, I mean, I'm in my car right now and it just seems like I'm in my own little world and it doesn't really seem like I'm moving, so what if I can't feel the movement? Then how would I know that I was moving? Well, in that case, I would have to rely on something called relative motion. What does relative motion mean? Well, relative motion means that you look at things going on outside of your car. So for example, I can see things moving outside my car. What I'm seeing is fixed points of reference. What's a fixed point of reference? This telephone pole is a fixed point of reference. So while I'm moving, I can actually see the telephone poles going by outside my window. That's how my brain can tell me that even though I may not feel like I'm moving, I can see that I'm moving. That's relative motion. Okay, so it's easy to tell that I'm moving in something as small as a car. I mean, I can feel that I'm moving, and I can use the fixed points of references outside, and I can see that I'm moving. But what about something bigger than a car, though? Nope, bigger than this. Nope, bigger than this. Nope, bigger even than this. I'm standing on the biggest object that any of us will probably ever stand on, the world. The world is a really big place.
So big, in fact, that even though where you are, you're spinning at nearly 600 miles an hour, you can't feel it. Remember in my car, I could feel movement because the car was so small, and I could see movement. But to do that, you have to have fixed points of reference. We don't have fixed points of reference to see movement on the Earth, or do we?
So let me see if I can demonstrate that on this merry-go-round right here. While I'm spinning around on the merry-go-round, from my perspective, this is what I see. But if somebody could see me from the outside, this is what they would see. It's not the sun spinning around me. I'm the one spinning, and the sun looks like it's moving around me. Standing on the merry-go-round, this is what I see. Standing on the Earth, this is what I see. I'm speeding up the spin of the Earth so that you can actually see the sun moving quicker across the sky. But remember, the sun's not moving, we are the ones that are spinning.
The sun, and at night the stars, are fixed points of reference. They don't really move. In this time lapse, you can really see the Earth's rotation. Here, instead of the stars moving, they're fixed in position. This shows you clearer what's really happening. The Earth is spinning, not the stars. So remember, whenever you see the sun rising or setting, the sun's not moving around us. The Earth is spinning and moving around the sun.
So before telescopes, before there were spacecraft that were flying into space, how did these guys know all this stuff? Can you pick all that up? Are you hearing all that?
Probably.